Hello guys, my name is Siddharth Varde and this is the Data Structure Fundamentals to Mat2 Answer8. So the first question is, being an engineer, how will you make a decision of choosing array versus linked list? So it's a very simple decision actually. Let's say if I know that there are only fixed number of elements that I am going to use, then I would choose array. And if I know that the number of variables can vary, so let's say like first time there would be 50, then there can be 170 or there can be 80, it doesn't matter, those are not fixed. I don't know what is the upper limit of the variables, then I would say I would choose linked list. Like that's a very easy choice. So if I know the upper limit exactly, let's say it's 50, that I surely know that there are no more than 50 variables, then I would use array. And if I know that like it doesn't matter, like sometimes it can be 10 or sometimes it can be 20, sometimes it can be 100 or maybe 1000 or million, then I would choose linked list, right? Because the upper limit is not bound. So the second question is how to count the number of loops present in a linked list. So I guess this question itself is wrong. Because if we are talking about singly linked list, then let me show you. Let's say this is the linked list. A points towards B, B to C, C to D, D to E, E to F, F to G, and G points towards C again, right? So there is a loop that exists. But if I try to enter any other element, let's say if I try to enter some new H element at that D would point towards, like right, D would point towards H. So like at that moment, like since it is a singly linked list, my D can point towards only one element. So D would point towards H and H would point towards E. Otherwise H would point towards nothing and there is no loop that exists, right? I would be able to traverse from A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to H, and my linked list would be empty. Like I would exit my linked list. So like there is only one loop that can exist, and like if we want to, we can say like yes, there is a way to check if the loop like linked list is looping or not. So to do that, what we need to do is like we need two pointers, slow and fast. Again, my slow would traverse with the speed of 1 and my fast would traverse with the speed of 2, right? So like they would both start from A. In the first iteration, here would be my 1, then here would be my 2, then my 1 would be here, and my 2 would be yes, from here to 2 points, right here. After that my 1 would be here and my 2 would be here, and okay, yes, okay, sorry, let's start from the beginning. I forgot where I was, right? So let's say start from the A. Now my first iteration, my 1 becomes here and my 2 here, right? And after that yes, after that my 1 will be here and my 2 will be here because it was here. So from 1 and 2 E, it would be on E, right? Then my 1 would be on D and my 2 would be on G, right? So and after that my 1 would be on E and my 2 would be on D, right? Again here, because 1 and 2 it loops. So again, then after that my 1 would be on F, right? And my current 2 is like on the D, so it would traverse 2 and it would also come on F, and they are both at the same position. So if they get on the same position, I say the loop exists. And number of loops is, as I said, there is only one loop that can exist in singly linked list. So if I want to find where do the loops start from, then what I need to do is, my next step would be, if the loop exists, first of all I need to check if the loop exists, and after, once the loop is once I know that loop exists, then what I would do is I would make my 1 point towards A, so it would be here, and my 2 would be as at the point that they made, so it would be on F. Okay, so my 2 is here, here I found the loop, and my current 2 is here, right? So now my 1 and 2 pointer would traverse with the speed of 1. So my 1 would be at B and my 2 would be at G, and my 1 would be at C and my 2 would be at C again. So wherever they meet next, that is the start point of my loop. So I hope I have answered the question, because I guess the question itself is wrong, because as I said, if we are talking about singly linked list, then there is only one loop that can exist. There cannot be any other loop. So thank you, I guess.